Hi there, it's Simone. I am here with a notebook review. I had originally reached out to Stephen of Taroko Design to ask if he would be able to send me this notebook, the Taroko notebook in the Traveler's standard size with 68 GSM Tomoe River paper. I would really love to test the paper and compare it to the 52 GSM Tomoe River paper, how the paper holds up to ink swatches and stamping and watercolor. And he said yes. And when I received my package, all of these items were included. So I thought I would show them to you really quickly because, you know, that was so generous. And now you can see what they offer. He sent me this postcard. It's a rhinoceros quadrupedis hippopotamus. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Hippopotamus mammiferus. Then a pencil board for the Traveler's Notebook, regular size. This is very comparable to the Traveler's Notebook, standard size, pencil board, almost identical. He sent me the Breeze notebook, which is, if I'm not mistaken, also 68 GSM. I'll open it up and take it out. Yeah, these two are both 68 GSM Tomoe River paper. And we'll take a closer look in just a moment at the binding and the setup of the notebooks. And then he also sent along the Odyssey notebook, which is Cosmo Air Light paper. And then this. So I'm gonna open this and check it out. Historic Jersey, the seal of the bailiwick of the Isle of Jersey, granted by King Edward I, 1302. Okay, not really sure what I would do with something like that. Probably maybe use it as collage fodder. If you have any ideas on how this could be used, I'd gladly hear it. So let's look at the notebook structure. These books are all bound the same way. They have a, they're not hardcover notebooks, but soft cover notebooks. And the interesting thing about these notebooks is that this paper is not glued to the front cover page. Normally, when you have a soft cover notebook that looks like that, now I'm looking around, I don't have anything to compare it with. Maybe let's use this one. Well, this is not a good example. This is cut and bound into the book. Let's look at this one. This is the Hobonichi Cousin Day Free. So this is the same binding as this one. This fly leaf here is glued to the cover of the notebook. in the Taroko-Shop notebooks, none of the fly leaves are glued to the front. I don't think there's anything that speaks against just gluing this down yourself if it irritates you, but if you can see, they're all constructed the same way. The price for these is, I should have done more research. These are all super affordable. I will put the price of those on the screen. They are comparable to a lot of hardcover bound books. However, I have to say that I am really impressed with the layout and setup of those notebooks. So this one is the A6. It has a book plate in the front where you can put your name, address, and telephone number here, and then it has index pages, 4, and then it has numbered pages. It is dot grid paper. I don't know if you can see that. Should be able to pick it up right now. Numbered pages all the way through to the end. On the last few pages here, there is an ink swatch, which log, which is really cool. I like that a lot. It probably wouldn't be enough for the inks that I'm using. And then there is a yearly overview. It's very, very faint. I don't know if you can see it. I'm just trying to figure out what this is supposed to be. So this is the year. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this would be an overview of 1 year. You would have the month here, and then this is week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. So you could get a really zoomed out look at your year, and have the weeks of each month in columns here. And you have these pages for 2 pages. You could get a very zoomed out look at 2 years if you were going to look at that. You could use this as a tracker, like did I close all the circles on my exercise or Apple Watch for this week, for that week? That could be something that you could do. I think for me personally, these boxes are too small to write anything legible. I would have to use abbreviations, and I'm not sure that would make a lot of sense. But if you, I don't know, let's check out that if this book has, no, this one doesn't have it in the back. Does it have it in the front? No. I think this one also exists as an A5, and that would be probably more usable than the other one. These are all the same. The signatures are quite big. So if you compare this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 signatures, you can see here the signatures are barely visible in this. So you can't even really count how many there are. This might have to do with the fact that this paper is thinner, of course. Let's see. The pages in these books, this one is not numbered, obviously. The pages in this book, the numbered pages are 237, and then you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more pages. However, those are not really usable for whatever you're using this notebook for. The binding it's a lay flat binding. As you can see, I can just easily train the notebook to lay flat any page. Let's see what it looks like where 2 signatures meet, because that's something that I noticed with the hardbound books, is a place where the there might be glue, it might stick to the pages, they might not open flat. So this is exactly at the meeting point of two of these signatures. There is no glue residue. Yes, there is. If you look from here, it is doesn't go all the way down because these two pages have to attach somehow, but it still lays flat. There is no glue residue on the pages, which is really nice to see. I am really impressed with the quality of these notebooks. When I unboxed those and looked at them, I was like, wow, this is probably they are definitely not super cheap, but they are affordable. They ship from Asia. Let's zoom out because I really would have to look that up as well. And the shipping cost will bring the price of those notebooks up a bit more. So if you were going to get some of those, I would probably suggest either pairing up with someone who is getting them as well, a friend or so, or stocking up. It doesn't really make sense to order just one notebook. I am going to take out some paper. Since these are numbered, it really would be best if I used this notebook as a swatch book, or I'm taking the ones with the yearly overview back here. That could be something. I'm gonna take them out and do some swatching on those, so that I can compare them to the papers that I had already made for other notebooks, and we can see what it looks like. I just wanted to show you how this looks with the Cosmo Air Light. Same thing, it lays flat very easily. I don't have any long-term experience with the wear and tear on the cover. It feels a lot more substantial and durable than this one. Let me show you. This is a mess. This Tomoe River fountain pen friendly notebook. It's the Sakai Technical Paper Company notebook. You can get this one on Jet Pens. I saw it. I think I saw it on other stationery fountain pen stores as well. I have used this for the past, so this is August. It is now November, so August, September, October, November, 3 months. And yeah, so this is already getting some, it's already very ruffled around the edges, and I don't really like that. It doesn't look very nice. I am keeping this in my gallon leather cover, so it is not just floating around anywhere. I keep it in here. I do take it out to write, but it's not in a bag or so. It's always in this cover, and still it looks like this. So I'm really curious to see how this will hold up in the long run. My plan is to use this as my next writing journal. I know if you've watched my paper review notebooks that I was going to use a different one, but I'm really looking for a notebook in the standard size. And so this is my next writing journal. And then I will move on to the one that I have been thinking about previously. I just really like the size. Let's, especially for the Tomoe River paper, let's look at the paper color. I think this is exactly the same. However, this one is 52 GSM paper. I purchased this from Paper Penguin Co. in 2021. And this is definitely brighter white than this. This is not cream, but this is off-white for sure. So this is very bright white, and then this is an off-white, which I really don't mind. I personally don't like cream paper that is very, very yellow. Basically just like this Travelers Company dashboard, but this is still absolutely okay. I'm going to try various different fountain pen inks on there, and also stamp. I might make a little time lapse so that you can see, and then I'll tell you what I think about this paper. Okay, so you saw me working on these ink writing samples. I just wanted to see how it feels to write on the paper with an actual fountain pen. So I just tested all of the fountain pens that I have. You saw me put a thumbprint on here, and you can see that there is some resist. It's minimal. I don't really see any feathering of any of the inks. They look really nice on the paper. I am going to pull out all of the ink swatches and paper swatches that I made on the various different papers so far, just so that we can see and compare. I think the most interesting comparison would be the 68 GSM and the 52 GSM, but I do have other papers as well. So where is that? Do I really not have it? It's right here. Sorry. Okay, so this is 68 GSM Tomoe River paper directly compared to 52 GSM. Let's start with the inks, the stamping, or let's start with the paper sound. This is what the paper feels and sounds in 52 GSM. It feels very, very thin, almost like tissue paper. This is more substantial. This is the sound it makes. It's still thin paper, but it's not as thin as 52 GSM. The stamp impressions, I left out the Stays On paper ink. I threw it away after my last notebook test because it was just done, and it doesn't give a real good comparison. So the archival ink stamped much better on here. Where is it? This is wrong. Oh my goodness. This is VersaFine. The VersaFine ink stamped much better on the Tomoe River paper. The ink impressions on the papers are definitely better on the 68 GSM. The stamp, the date stamp, bleeds. It kind of like spreads out a bit more. The biggest thing that I noticed is that this paper, which is supposed to be 68 GSM Tomoe River paper, does not feel coated, whereas the Tomoe River paper in 52 GSM feels coated. This is very smooth to the touch. Feels like there is hand lotion on top of it. It's my fingers glide over here. This feels more toothy. It does not have any coating on it, and you will see it when I'm comparing the ink swatches, what happens then. So let's see. There is ghosting on and bleed through on the 52 GSM paper, definitely bleed through on the Shachihata. There is ghosting here. There's ghosting on the VersaFine. There is also ghosting for all of the stamping inks. This one seems like it's going to come through at some point. If you push even harder, it will, but it's not as bad as the 52 GSM. This is something that I personally could live with, especially the Archival and the Versamagic are okay. And probably second generation stamping of the VersaFine would be okay too. So, ink swatches. Where is my ink swatch paper? What? Oh yeah, I remember. So, let's see. So for the Diamine Inkvent, this is what the Black Ivy looks on 52 GSM. It has a very high sheen. You basically are not able to see the base color on this paper. For the 68 GSM, the interesting thing was that the ink soaked into the paper right away. It did not sit on top with other papers. It pools. It sits on top before it soaks in. This was not the case with this 68 GSM paper. I'm not sure what the difference is. Let's take a look at the Sailor Manyo Neko Yanagi, which is further up here. You can see that, oh, I am zoomed in, that's why, but it's okay. There is some darker shades here. There is more of the turquoise and the purple. There's less blue in this swatch. The shading is still pretty high on this one. I don't see as much purple. And then let's look at Altgoldgrün, which is very interesting. I feel on the Tomoe River paper 52 GSM, it seems like there is more blue in the ink. And on here, it seems like there's more yellow. This is what the back side looks. Let's see what the Rohrer and Klingler looks like on the back. Similar results. It starts bleeding through right here. For the watercolor, this sounds really nice. I always love how watercolor sounds on Tomoe River paper. This is a I forget the word, not chromo shading. It splits up into various colors. It is more prominent on the 52 GSM paper, but it is visible here. The colors are still very vibrant. It stays wet a while, so you can play around with the inks. This is dry now, and it doesn't come off the page. This is what it looks like on the back side. This is what it looks like on the back side. So this works for watercolor perfectly. Of course, it starts to crinkle. I personally, if I decide to use watercolor in a notebook, then that's exactly what I would like to hear. So that's good for me. But if you don't want your paper to crinkle up, this is not the paper for you. Let's see what it looks like compared to Rhodia paper. And I have to say, I'm just going to spread these out and you can have a look. I'm going to talk mostly about the now I'm losing my mind here, about the ink swatches, because that's what I'm most interested in. When I made the samples, this felt most closest to Rhodia paper. It felt like the first layer that I put down was soaked in like a sponge. And I have to say that there's also a lot of the base color visible in this swatch similar to this one. There was more sheening on the writing with the Rhodia paper, not so much with this one. However, we can definitely and clearly say that the sheen dries on the paper and does not come off when rubbed. This is Cosmo Air light paper. On the Cosmo Air light paper, again, the Aurora and Klingner is more blue. This is more yellow. There is more sheen on the Black Ivy, but just a tiny bit. And the ink swatch on the Manyo Neko Yanagi looks very similar. I feel like there's more pinks in this and there's more blue teals in this one. And then let's compare the very last one, which is the Regalia paper by Endless, made by Endless. Wow, there is a huge difference between these two samples. This one swatches, this one is almost green compared to this one. There's more of this purplish pink hue in the background. It's not prevalent here. Again, more blue, more yellow, and the sheen comes off a lot more vibrant and lively. I think that's what I feel with this swatch in particular, is that on this paper, this looks like it's not healthy. On this one, it does, however, look a lot better. It does not smear, it dries on the Endless paper, and we already established that it does dry on the 68 GSM paper. I am really looking forward to using this paper as a writing journal. I definitely will come back at the end when I'm done using the journal that I picked as my next writing journal and let you know how it went, how it felt, how I enjoyed writing in it. The first impression of those notebooks, the first glance, the first tests that I made, I can say that I am very impressed by the construction of the notebooks. There is nothing. These are high quality notebooks. I really like that the covers are very neutral. I can put on my own stickers. If I love that these pages are numbered. I really appreciate the fact that there is an index in the front. Here is a notebook start date, notebook finish page. I can see myself using this for a notebook, and if I hadn't already started my Hobonichi Cousin Day Free as a content planner for next year, I probably would consider the Odyssey notebook. This has everything that I find very useful in the Day Free, like a numbered pages. It does not have the calendar, which makes this usable for more than just 1 year. And it also comes with an index, where this does not. So it has numbered pages right here, but it does not come with an index. So you will have to make your own index page. And what I really like about this is that this is a dot grid. I haven't talked about the size of the dot grid. It is a 5 millimeter dot grid, which is my preferred dot grid size. And I really like that the full page is usable. Compared to the Day Free, you always have this margin that is not usable to write on, especially when you're not decorating or covering up these with some colorful tip-ins. if it's not your creative journal, but a planning tool, I really enjoy or appreciate the fact that the whole page is usable for me. This makes this very, very usable. It also is very sleek, very, usable in a business setting if you do not want to let people know that if you're not the colorful type. This is okay. I can take this to meetings in a business setting, but people will look at me. If I bring a black notebook, I would have to put this in a cover. I don't have to put this in a cover. This is perfectly usable. It's not, it doesn't flash. If you don't want it to flash, yes, of course, you can put stickers, but you know what I'm saying? I really like this. I'm looking forward to using specifically this notebook for my long form journaling, and I cannot wait to get back to you and let you know how it felt. I also really like that they have the different paper properties of this paper printed on the top. It has a high drying time, which we just noticed. The feedback of the paper is very low. Yes, my pens glid over this paper. There is low feathering, low bleed through. I can say that the claims that they made for this 68 GSM Tomoe River paper are definitely correct. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to know if you have used Taroko-Shop notebooks in the past. What was your impression? How did your notebooks hold up? Maybe I can learn from your experience. How did you like the paper? If you have used 68 GSM paper, is it the same for you? Is it not coated? Or is it just this paper here, which doesn't really make sense? I don't think that Tomoe River paper is produced in various different ways. But, I don't know all about the secrets of the paper making world, so maybe that's something that I don't know. I'd love to know your experience with 68 GSM Tomoe River paper in the comments below. And let me know what other notebooks you would like me to check out. I already filmed one that is coming out next month, but there's so many more papers and things to check out. So I'd love your suggestions in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I will see you soon. Bye.